See, like right here. Here's where your pocket starts, right? And the pattern, I don't have that piece. I put it up.
The pocket?
The pattern, what they did is they didn't count the darts. They didn't count, so by the time you sew up the darts, the pocket was only 5 inches. Okay, so mark your, this is like in here is about 1 inch and 3/4, and it's 2.5 inches down. It should be 2.5 down. And then just kind of walk this line, because it's not a straight line, and give yourself this line either with a pencil or with a chalk, anything that you can rub off again. You don't want it to be there permanently. You know, for our sample here, it's not so important, but okay, so this is the marking. This is the placement line for the welt, okay? Now, you have that. This is the top, okay? This is our placement line here, the highest one, not down here. You take the first line, and with the right sides touching, you noticed I only marked one beginning, and then I'm just sort of going to run out, because you start right here and pin your placement line. And then you can just sort of walk the line. Take the pin here and then find the line underneath. See, the thing in here is because it's a curve. You see, it's not a straight line, so you have to kind of wiggle it along a little bit. See? This line I'm matching up with this line. And I'm doing it in pieces. See, I put my pin here, and then I find my line.
Okay, so the line on the pant is the top line.
Yeah, that's the top line. Because the welt is 2.5 down from the waist point, including the seam allowance. It's 2 inches, but with the seam it's 2.5. And that is where the jacket pocket too. Okay, all right. You see how that kind of works itself around? It's not a straight line. That's why you need that stretch from the... So now this is probably the most... This part here is probably the hardest point of the whole thing, because you have to watch out for your top and for your underside. See how you kind of have to bring it into place. If there wasn't any darts, but see in here, you have to kind of watch it. So now, when I'm starting to sew this, I'm going to start in the middle, and then within a 1/2 inch, I'm going to change for the number 1, and bring it all the way around. Okay, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Usually, if it wasn't for all the talking, you probably would be done by now. But when you have to explain something, it takes more time. So start in the center, and what I found, what helps is if you pull the whole thing a little bit in order to keep it from, you have to also watch, let me just take this out one more time. You got to make sure that these darts are open and that you don't bring them back when you sew over them. You have to keep your eye on that. Okay. All right, okay. Okay, let's see, everything in order? Okay, look. Now, there's no back stitching because you're just gonna come back and overlap 2.5 stitch you start with. And try to be even on your stitching line. Number 1. I don't want to take that pin out until I'm in that corner because I don't want anything to shift on me. See now, by marking your corners the way I taught you, you have it so much easier to get a good looking corner. Now on this side you can start taking your pins out. But keep focused on the middle of the seam. It's okay if you look underneath. I don't want to end up with that same mistake I made earlier. Okay. See, you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, right?
Right.
Okay, back to number 1. And so far so good. Back to 2.5.